Hey, greetings. Good morning. There we are. Let's get set. Blessings, blessings. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. All right. Oh boy. I am still recovering energetically from the last 7 days of things to do. So excuse me, I may yawn a lot. So a lot is being released today. A lot has been released. So it was on my heart today to speak about boundaries. I every day, before we begin this, I get up and I just sit with spirit for a moment and ask, what medicine is the right medicine for today? What medicine should I express, share, pour out? What medicine should I bring? And it's funny because for all the days, like since we started this, so I believe we're on day 14 now. We're halfway through, 2 chambers down, 2 more chambers to go. And while you're listening, you can go ahead and put your hand on your heart, put your left hand on your heart, and just start to tune in to the sound and the sensation of your own body. Tune in and connect while I speak. So today was about developing boundaries. That is a really, really important milestone in the healing of the heart. As we develop boundaries in different areas of life, boundaries actually account for a lot of the issues that we have, bumping up against these other humans that we're around. If we become clear in our boundaries, and then we become talented at learning to express the boundaries in a way that other people can receive them and understand them and honor them, that solves like 99% of the emotional issues that we encounter in the world. So the developing of boundaries is like I said, it's an incredibly important space, and the beginning of understanding where our boundaries are, what our emotional needs are. Those boundaries happen from the heart space, like it is from tuning in with our heart and checking in with our heart and feeling what our heart needs. That's where we develop boundaries. And so today's session, let's devote that to developing boundaries. Hey, good morning. Let's work on that because boundaries are not just, when we think of boundaries, a lot of times we just think of boundaries of expressing, how we want someone to treat us or how we want someone to talk to us. And boundaries are about much, much more than that. All aspects of our lives require some level of boundaries. So we need to have physical boundaries. So we have boundaries in our physical space. There's boundaries of how close, if you're sitting on the subway or riding the train or standing in a bus, there's boundaries of how close it's acceptable for somebody to get into your space. And however close that is for you based on your own human experiences is the right amount for you. But that's a kind of boundary that we're typically aware of. We notice things like that. But boundaries are also not just like physical and spatial. Boundaries are financial. What kind of financial boundaries have you got? Are you the type who is willing to lend out money to anybody who asks? Do you feel obligated to help other people? Like if you're one of the wealthier people in your family, if you have more than others, do you feel obliged to give away what you have? Do people guilt you into giving away what's yours, or what you've worked for, or what you've drawn to yourself, and make you feel as though you owe it to them too because you have it? Do you give away stuff when you're getting close, if it's the opposite end for you? If you have very little income and you're just managing to make it through with what you have, do you feel like, well, F it, I barely have anything left anyway, so let me just use the rest and just, spend this on a party, or blow this on, lottery tickets or something? Where are your boundaries? And as I'm talking, just, I'm keeping your hand on your heart. Just check in with your heart. Feel where you are with the different types of boundaries. Where are your spatial boundaries? Do people invade that space a lot? If you have space boundaries where you need a good deal of personal time, do the people in your life honor you having personal time? If you have time where you need to be alone, how can you create boundaries in a healthy way that doesn't offend anybody, but also makes sure that your emotional needs, that your heart needs, are being met? And sometimes I express my boundaries, my need for personal space, by just going into a space of silence, and not silence. That somebody said the other day, there's a difference between silent treatment and between actual silence. I'm not talking about being passive aggressive and giving silent treatment to people. I'm talking about expressing your need for personal space by explaining to the people around you who are in your life, in your home, that you are going within, that it's time for you to just be silent and just close out the world for a while, so that you can have your personal time and your personal space. Personal space doesn't always mean you have to have nobody around you. I can have personal space when I'm riding a crowded subway, because I can have headphones in, I can be reading a book, and I can have my walls up in that way. I can have the sound and my vision are blocked so that people don't think it's safe to invade my space. So you can create boundaries. There are creative ways to develop boundaries, but the first place of understanding exactly where your boundaries are is checking in with your heart. Do you feel that you've given too much to the world? Do you feel that people talk too much around you? Do you feel that you talk too much? There are vocal boundaries. There are boundaries of conversations. There are boundaries of, when you get on the phone with people, do people use up your time and talk endlessly to you? Do your friends want to talk endlessly, gossiping about the latest whatever it is, and you're just not interested? Developing a boundary. If it doesn't feel good, you have to find a way to express that. And sometimes we express it by just running away. Sometimes when we don't have the ability to set healthy boundaries with people, or we're not sure where our boundaries are, or we haven't even tuned into our own heart space to feel whether a certain level of boundary is even right, or we've been made to feel guilty about having boundaries. In order to have boundaries, there are kind of two energies that people use. So there's the sort of yin energy of people just run away. So if you have people who just ghost you in your life, don't take their ghosting personally. I used to be a ghoster because I need a lot of personal space. I'm very much a person who needs silence. I need to go within. I can't stand cheap talk, cheap, empty conversations. I don't want to talk about the weather or gossip about other people. I want to talk about things that are building and expansive. Those kind of things are interesting to me. So when people call me to chit-chat about basic things, it's a struggle for me. So a lot of times I disappear from conversations. I don't call people when I should, because there's a certain level of depth that I like, so that I find enjoyable. And so I spent years just giving away and keeping a smile glued on my face while people talk endlessly about things that I don't care about, or express things that I'm not interested in, and just participate because I felt that I was supposed to, or that I had to. And then I went through a phase of just ghosting people. Just if I don't want to talk about certain things, I just don't talk. I just don't show up. I'm just completely not present in people's lives. And that's not healthy either. The healthy thing is to set a boundary, to know what your needs are, and to actually set boundaries and feel comfortable expressing them. it's comfortable for me now to say to people, I don't like to talk about just things, and I'm a Sagittarius. Sometimes I will be a little blunt, and I've had to learn how to soften the edges over the years. And that was a difficult issue too, because my verbal boundaries sometimes were invading other people's space. If I just say it directly how I mean it, sometimes, with no sugar on top, people get offended. So if I say I'm not here for cheap, boring conversations about other people, people would sometimes be offended by that, and I couldn't understand. Like, well, but that's such low vibration conversation. Why would you not own it for what it is? But people are where they are, and we can still love them and still not need one of their behaviors. We can love people and love them completely without taking their behavior or their issues or their things into our boundary space. And then so if anybody in your life is ghosting you and you feel offended about them ghosting you, try again with compassion, from your own heart, as you heal your things. Try to accept and understand that that's a person who hasn't been taught how to either feel or express their own healthy boundaries. They just haven't learned that. If you've learned it, you use it. Like when you know how to say to people what you need and you don't feel guilty about it and you don't feel like something's wrong with you, you express your needs. That's a healthy, it's just like a healthy form of expression that comes naturally to us when we've learned, when we're comfortable, when we feel safe in our skin, when we feel safe around the people that we're around. So if anybody is ghosting you, maybe instead of feeling insulted by them, try and think from a space of compassion, what could you do to make yourself a safe space for them to express? And a safe space for somebody to express means that sometimes that you allow for them to get it wrong. That means that sometimes they're going to say something that might offend you. So if they're learning not to ghost you and they're tiptoeing and creeping into the space of boundaries and learning how to express boundaries, sometimes they're going to get it wrong. And safe space means a safe space. You're not going to be unnecessarily angry at them. You're not going to criticize them. You're not going to take it so personally. Let them be on their journey. Let them find their way back to your heart in a healthy way. But when they find their way back to your heart, make sure that your boundaries are in place. So make sure that you have already developed the capacity too. Because there are two ways. So the yin way is ghosting, and that's running away. And then the yang way, yang is the aggressive way. So that means that people who don't know how to set boundaries, so they use anger. So giant displays of anger, big voices and shouting and loud and huge gestures and pushing off negative energy towards other people. That is also a way of expressing boundaries that people who have not fully developed their ability to learn boundaries, they don't know. So they wait until their heart is feeling crushed by whatever's happening around them, and then they just burst up and crush it and just smash everything in their direct space, whether it's verbal, physical, or however. And that's also, and so while making sure that you are safe and that you're in a safe space with this other person, do not allow anybody to offend your personal space, to offend your energy at all. But recognize from a safe space, from whatever space is safe for you with your boundaries, that that person who, if somebody continually does that in your life, if every time something comes up, they express it in this like big, powerful, loud, angry way, then recognize that just like the opposite and the yin end with the ghosting, where a person just disappears because they don't know how to talk to you, when a person blows up in anger, they also don't know how to express what's going on. Something's happening inside their heart space, and they haven't learned to accept it, to feel comfortable with it, to feel safe with it. All they know is that their heart is feeling crushed and that they need to make any gesture possible to make their heart feel safe. And that's what they're doing. So it's not personal. It's not a personal attack against you. But you have to have enough boundaries of your own to recognize there are certain things that you won't accept. There are certain things, there was a point in my life when I had no boundaries where I was actually accepting physical abuse. I was abused as a child, and it was normal for me when I was going into adult relationships, into my into my late teens and early 20s. It was normal to me to be in abusive relationships because that was what I knew. And over the years of healing and working through different things, it came from a point of accepting physical abuse as normal to, and still fighting against it, not normal, like it was just there, but accepting physical abuse as even allowing that in my personal space. To, I won't even accept somebody using foul language. Like if we're having an argument, if my husband and I are having an argument, he wouldn't even, thankfully, he wouldn't dream of, I wouldn't accept a person who said bad words to me. If you call me name, call me a bad word or anything, that's not acceptable to me. My boundaries are completely like, everything has to, like when we have disagreements, it has to be complete respect. We have to talk about what the issues are, and we have to talk about how we're going to solve the issues. But talking about putting people down or saying negative words, I don't accept that in my personal space. And it took a great deal of healing. It took years of healing to get to that. But that's about developing boundaries. So it's incredibly important for you to find the boundaries of where you are. And those things start with heart space. So after a great deal of talking, thank you for hearing me share those things. And really, really, spend a few days tuning in with yourself to feel where your boundaries are. Where are your verbal boundaries? Where are your relationship boundaries for your intimate relationship? Where are your boundaries with your parenting? What things will you accept from your children? And what things what things in the personal space? Are they allowed to lean on you for everything? Are they allowed to talk to you any kind of way? Are they allowed to, do you try to be friends with your children and you don't feel safe standing up as the parent, as the authority figure? All those types of things, those are all boundary things. So financial boundaries, parental boundaries, and what about your parents to you? Are your parents still allowed to control your life, the direction and flow of your life? Do they still guilt you into thinking like, oh, you were supposed to be this. Oh, I took care of you when you were growing up. You're supposed to provide me this. Like, are your boundaries in a safe space with your parents? Are they in a safe space with your children? At work, are you the person who everybody brings all the office work and makes you stay late to do all the extra work? Are you there because you think, oh, well, if I just continue to just use myself up, then eventually they'll notice how good I am and I'll get a promotion out of this? Are you that person? Feel that. Feel your work boundaries. Feel your financial boundaries. Feel your parental boundaries. Feel into yourself over days. Take some time and think that through and think about where your boundaries really are. And then start to feel from your heart space, what boundaries do you want to set? Because at any moment you can reset your boundaries. It's just about clear communication with others and about not having expectations, because everyone's not going to receive your boundaries in the right way. Some people will receive it as a personal offense. As soon as you set boundaries, you'll see that certain people who are used to abusing your time, abusing your energy, abusing your money, abusing your goodwill, abusing your kind gestures, that they will become offended and take it as a personal attack when you set boundaries that make you feel good. And you'll just have to accept that everybody isn't going to like that. That's okay. When you set the boundaries that are comfortable for you, and you are allowed to live, because you have to live with you 24 hours a day. You only have to live with that person a smaller portion of that time. You're with you all the time. So who do you need to serve first? You need to take care of you. You need to be happy inside you, and then go serve the world with that happiness. But first, fix what's happening for you. So go ahead and take a deep breath in. And let's just fill that heart space with some more love and some more light and some more healing and some more growth. And let me put on our frequency for today. Let's get that Buddha, calm, peaceful energy going and flowing. Exhale through your mouth and just exhale, let that breath drop down through the center of your being, down the root, down into the floor. And then inhale up. Draw that breath back up into the heart space. Fill the heart with as much light, as much breath as it can hold. And then continue that breath up through the center of your body, up, through the throat, through the eyes, out through the crown. Inhale up to the ceiling. And then again, exhale through the mouth Exhale down and drop the breath back down again. And this time continue to drop the breath and anchor the breath down, all the way down to the earth. Exhale any old stuck energy off of your lungs, down, down, through your heart space, down through your center, through your navel, out through your sacral, down through the root, and out, down into the ground, down into the earth. Exhale until you can't exhale anymore, and drop an anchor into the earth, and just hold your connection with Mama Earth. And as you draw your next breath up, just draw the energy from the earth, draw up that golden, deep light, like the center of the earth, those lava volcanoes that erupt, that core, that hot core, magnetic core in the center of the earth. Draw that energy up into your being. Draw that energy up into your heart space. And just fill your heart with that hot golden light. And circle it all the way around your heart. Make a seal of protection around your heart. And with Mama Earth's energy, just seal that space and just set the intention there of having your deep, healthy boundaries for the highest good of you and everyone around you. The best and most healthy boundaries that you can reach, that you can access, and that you can express. And then exhale that warm, comforted heart, and exhale. And then inhale the breath up and draw the breath all the way up to the sky, up to where the atmosphere reaches the blackness of space. And just reach that tippy point of space and drop an anchor there to that cool darkness. And then exhale that anchor down, down back through your crown, down through the center of your body, and circle that anchor, that cool darkness of space. Make a circle around your heart, make a sphere around your heart with that, around the golden light. So you have a double seal, a double wall of protection there, so that you don't have to create protective boundaries out of your ego, out of your lower nature. You can use these elemental energies to protect your heart so that you don't have to make a heart seal of your own. It is already done for you. Nature already has a design for that. We don't have to interfere with that design. It was already perfect. So just exhale this time through your nose, and just exhale, bring yourself back to your heart space. And then go ahead and raise your hand up. So the right hand goes up, right elbow pressed into the liver over here, and your right hand is facing forward. Left hand, bring your palm in front of your heart, about 4 to 6 inches, and then we're going to go out another 4 to 6, and then out another 4 to 6. And then inhale back. So we're going to chant Tum Ta Ru, Tum Ta Ru. All right? And for the best results, keep your eyes closed so that you can focus internally on your heart space, and just devote this meditation, this moving meditation, to your heart space, to the healing of your heart space, to the detoxification of any old wounds, any old behaviors, any old boundaries that no longer serve you. We're going to release those today. All right? Tum Ta Ru, Tum Ta Ru, Tum Ta Ru, Tum Ta Ru. Sit up nice and tall. Tum Ta Ru, 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 Tum tum ta ru, 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 Last one. Tum, ta, ru. And inhale back. And bring your hand back to your heart. Inhale deep and hold. And bring your right hand on top of your left hand to support it, and just hold that breath for a moment. And again, hold that intention of your new boundaries that you're setting for yourself. And exhale. Exhale through your mouth. Release everything that you were yesterday, everything that you were last week, everything that you were last moon cycle, everything that you were last year. Today you are reset. These 14 days of heart healing have given you the space to become something new, something else, a different version of yourself that serves the path that you are on, that serves your destiny in a deeper way, that serves your joy, your alignment, your ability to be yourself. You're allowed to be who you want to be and who you came to be. And you have the right to express those boundaries with others. And remember to forgive anybody who has violated your boundaries, no matter at what level of boundaries. If you've been violated sexually, if you've been violated financially, if you've been violated verbally, if you've been violated parentally, whatever level or place of your boundaries that have been violated, just forgive, and release. Forgiveness does not mean acceptance of behavior. It means that you agree to sever the karmic ties that are holding you bound to that person who violated you. Forgiveness means cutting cords. Forgiveness is about cutting energetic and etheric cords that connect you to other people emotionally, for being tied to them in pain. That doesn't serve you in any way. It doesn't serve your heart. It doesn't serve your healing. It doesn't serve your progress. You are only able to rise as high as the space that your heart is able to go free. When you are tied to the ground with bricks that weigh you down to your connection with other people, when you connect to other people in trauma-based connections, you are weighing yourself down. Forgiveness means cutting those cords so that you are free to rise and to expand in your own way, at your own time, and in your own space. It means resetting those cords so that you can connect yourself to people who you want to be connected to people who you want in your space, to people who serve your path, your destiny, the highest level of joy that you expect and want for yourself. You can connect people to you from a choice, and rather than from being connected to them through some kind of pain or trauma. This is your opportunity to release yourself from any of those. Forgive yourself. And remember, as you hold yourself accountable, as you hold people accountable to the highest standard that you set for them, if you feel like you cannot forgive other people, then go back and think about all the times that you have violated your own boundaries. Think about the times that you meant to stop smoking weed and you kept going back. That when you meant to stop eating more than your fair share of food and you violated the space of boundaries. We all have a healthy physical body, size and shape and weight and look. And if you have violated your own boundaries and gone past what is comfortable and healthy for your own body, if you've done things for yourself and to yourself and with yourself that haven't honored your highest level of boundaries, remember that before you can expect anybody else to hold to your standard of boundaries, that you have to hold yourself to your own standard of boundaries first. You owe you before anyone else owes you. Just take a deep breath in and fill yourself with that new intention. How are you going to show up for yourself? I ask this question of you every day. Ask this question of yourself every day and continually ask yourself through the day. As moments come up where you can feel your heart space, when you can feel your heart expanding in a space of joy, or whether you can feel your heart shrinking and throwing up walls, because you feel violated, you feel disconnected, you feel angry, you feel upset by something someone has done around you. That's your moment. Tune into your heart space in that moment and see where that energy is coming from, or that need to self-protect. Is it the person themselves? Is it a boundary that you haven't set yet with that person? Give a person the opportunity, give people the opportunity to treat you the way you want to be treated. But it starts with you. You have to let them know first. Don't assume or believe that people will not follow or honor your boundaries. Assume that they will. Assume that they will. And give them the opportunity to learn how to understand you, to learn how to treat you. Give them a chance. Give them the space to get it wrong. If these boundaries are new, are you resetting boundaries? Give them the space to learn you. And give them as much space as you feel right giving. And after that, if people are not learning quickly enough for you, then set the boundary and you can remove yourself. But make sure to give yourself too. Give yourself the opportunity, the chance, the time, the patience to learn, to relearn your own boundaries. If today you couldn't stop smoking weed, today is a new day. Start over. If yesterday you couldn't stop drinking, you picked up one more time, today is a new day. Set yourself that boundary and give yourself the time to learn your way into the new boundary. If you've been eating too much and you want to change that, if you keep meaning to go to the gym and you keep not going, if you keep meaning to go for a walk, whatever it is, give yourself time to reset and to learn your way into your own new boundaries, and give other people that same respect. Learning doesn't happen overnight. It's not immediate. We can learn something immediately, but habits take time to form. So allow that space. So inhale, and let's go ahead and raise the hands up into a Y position there. And let's go ahead and so make sure the fingers are curled in and the thumbs are pointing up. And give yourself the space. Let's get that ego, get out of the way. Good morning. What are you trying to do, Jay? You trying to go to bed? Or are you going to go outside? Okay, you going to do yoga with me today? He's like right off camera. Oh, there he is. Okay, you move over, Jay. You go to bed. Go to bed. Here, go over there. I know, go over there. I know, morning pets. I know. Jay, I'm on camera right now. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. So I guess Jay is doing our morning yoga with us. He wants his heart healed too today. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Heart healing for everybody. It's silly puppy. All right. Hands up, everybody. Sorry. All right. Deep breath in, and let's go ahead. We're going to do the fire breath. So we're just going to pump from the navel and inhale and exhale through the nose. Nice, quick breaths. And keep the eyes closed and just go ahead and focus on your heart. And this is part of your heart detox. Go ahead and release any energies that are stuck there, any energies that no longer serve you. It's time to get out of our own way. And take a deep breath in and bring the hands up, thumbs together. And pop the hands open. Exhale through through your mouth and just bring the hands down. Palms nice and wide, fingers spread apart. And exhale. All of those old dusty cobwebs, all of that old, the dust in the corners of the chambers of your heart, all that old energy that no longer serves you, all those old wounds and lack of forgiveness, all of that stuff that you've been nursing inside your heart space, all that desire to not forgive other people, all of that because that you feel like it helps you hold something over them and hold the moral high ground because you're better than them, because they did something bad to you, and now you get to hold on to the wound forever and ever and ever and hang it over their head and constantly dangle it in front of them and constantly remind them that they were a bad person and you're the victim. Release that. Let it go. Take ownership of where your boundaries were at the time that that person did that to you. And forgive yourself for not having the boundaries at the time, for not honoring your own boundaries, or not expressing your own boundaries. You're just a being learning. You're learning this journey. So forgive yourself for not setting the boundaries, and forgive them for not knowing where your boundaries were. People will only treat us as well as we show them that we can, that they can. So forgive yourself if your boundaries were not in the right space at that time. Forgive them. And go ahead and just release. Exhale through your mouth. Sometimes the extra weight that we're holding, the extra food that we're eating, the extra drinks that we're drinking, the extra weed that we're smoking, the extra anger that we're carrying, the extra sass, the extra sharp tongue, the extra cutting words. Sometimes all of that stuff that we're holding is because what we're really holding on to is some space inside of us that hasn't forgiven ourselves or hasn't forgiven other people in our lives. And we're holding on to those things and holding on to wounds. Like, wounds are hot, wounds are angry, and they show up in our body as inflammation. And in order to soothe the inflammation that's going on inside, we smoke to cover it up, we drink to cover it up, we eat to cover it up, we use sharp, hot, angry words or bitter words, bitter language. We swear a lot. And those are ways that we soothe ourselves. Those are methods that we use to soothe the internal inflammation that sometimes we're not even aware is going on. And if we can put down the wounds, if we can put down that energy and that hot energy inside of us, that hot inflammation energy inside of us starts to recede, we find suddenly that the need for the extra weed, the extra alcohol, the extra food, the extra shopping, the things that we do, the addictive behaviors that we soothe ourselves with, that those things start to fall away on their own, without us forcing, without us trying, without us struggling to make it happen, without us trying to use our will to overpower ourselves. Those things can fall away. They can dissolve. Just like you can either take a dirty pan in the sink and that's been sitting out overnight with food crusty and dry inside of it. You can take the pan and you can scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrape and scrub. Or you can just put the pan in the water and let it soak there for a little while and just allow the water to just dissolve the things from there. Just dissolve whatever is in there. So that when you go to rinse that pan off, sometimes the same things that you would have to scrape and scrub without the water will just rinse right away. They'll just rinse right off like they were never there. So instead of healing your heart the hard way, using scrubbing, going inside of yourself and scrubbing and scraping and trying to change yourself by scrubbing and scraping yourself, just allow that liquid. Allow your tears, allow your space to cry, allow your heart that space to let the liquid soothe those wounds away from you. Allow them to just be acknowledged and understood with compassion and cooling energy, and just allow them to just dissolve and release from you. We don't have to use force all the time, and especially with the heart space, force is not necessary. So go ahead, just put your right hand on top of your heart and your left hand over that, and take a deep breath in. And just fill your heart with the intention of who you want to be for this day. And hold that breath in. And then as you do, I want you to go ahead and turn around and go ahead and lie down. And just turn around where you are, unless you're in a car or a cubicle at work or behind a register or wherever you might be. I'm going to stay sitting up so that I can hold space for all of you, but I'd like you to go ahead and lie down if that feels right, if that feels comfortable. Does that feel right? Does that feel comfortable? Yep, he's like, I'm ready. Jay, stay here. So just lie down. Try to get as comfortable as Jay is here. Relax yourself, lie down on your back. See, he's been listening to us for 14 days and he's ready now. Just allow your face to relax. Allow your scalp, your neck, your shoulders to relax and release. Just release the tension in your body, any tension that you've been holding, the tension of being resentful about your job, about the person there next to you, about the career that you wanted that you feel like you couldn't have because you've had other responsibilities in the way, about all the things, all the spaces inside of you that are resenting your current life. All of those things are things that can be resolved by resetting and renewing your boundaries. So just relax in this moment. Allow yourself the space to relax. That tension that you're carrying, you can release it and let it go. You don't need to protect yourself with that hardness, with that stress, with that tension anymore. You can release that, let it go. And in that open space inside you, you can feel yourself. Breathe in deep breaths of golden light. Breathe in a deep acceptance for yourself, of your space, of where you are now. Have some compassion for everything that you have come through, everything that you have been through, and that you're still here, thriving and growing and expanding and working on becoming the next better version of yourself. Give yourself the love that you deserve, just for being who you are, just for being you. Not for anything that you do, not for anything that you give, just for being. You deserve to be loved just for that. And part of the expression of self-love is about having deep and clear and comfortable boundaries. So just relax yourself completely. Relax your legs, open your hips. Release any guilt, any shame, any resentment from out of your sacral area, from out of your womb space, from out of your belly, out of your navel. Release and relax. Relax your legs, your thighs, your knees, your ankles. Relax your feet. And just release everything and let it sink down into the earth. Let the earth take that from you. And inhale a deep breath, deep breath. Fill yourself with that breath. And if you're able to continue lying there, go ahead and just stay there. If you have some time, give yourself as much time as you need or as you can allow yourself before you have to get up and get moving with your day. Just stay with yourself. Stay with yourself in stillness, and when you need to and when you can, just put your hand on your heart and put your other hand over your navel and just take a deep breath in and tune in with yourself and see and feel what needs to be released what needs to be reset, what needs to be renewed. You know, people renew wedding vows over time, and that's a commitment that people make, and they make expressions of honoring that commitment by renewing vows. Renew the vows with yourself. Renew vows. Renew a commitment to yourself. Even if you woke up yesterday and didn't get it right, today is a new day. That's not you anymore. You've just been through another round of heart detoxing, another round of heart healing, heart cleansing. Take that. Take that. Hold that. Become somebody new with that. So, blessings. Super grateful to all of you for showing up every day, for being here with me, and for holding this space, and also for choosing to heal yourself, because the rest of the world needs the healing. They need this. They need this from us, and for all of us who are capable of opening to this healing ourselves, we are the ones who will be able to share this healing out into the world, and eventually it will ripple out and it will touch everyone. So thank you for showing up, for participating in the magic, and I appreciate you all so much. And I will see you guys on the other side. Say bye, Jay. Bye. Bye, everybody.